In this edition of Come Curious, Leave Inspired, we're going to talk about how Gemini Deep Research now integrates with your workspace content. So here's what I mean. Currently, here I am in Gemini, and in my tools, I want to select Deep Research. From here, I can give it sources. So I can say, search my Gmail, search my Drive. I don't have anything in chat, right? So these are going to be my sources. Now, you might be wondering, what is a use case for this? Why are we doing this? And if it's going through our Gmail and it's going through our Drive, how do we ensure confidentiality? So let's talk about that. To start with, a teacher-facing idea for this would be, let's say that you are doing a 4-week unit on climate change, right? And you want to make sure that it aligns with activities that you did last year, maybe current standards, and any student feedback that you might have in emails and chats. In this case, I didn't select chat as a source. So instead of opening 15 different tabs or going here to upload files, the teacher would give Gemini a single deep research prompt. So it might sound something like this. I've got something typed out. Let me go ahead and paste it in. So the prompt might look something like this. Research current Illinois environmental standards for 10th grade, then cross-reference these with my climate folder. Remember, if you're going to prompt it, you have to tell it where to look in your Drive. And so give it the name of the folder in your Drive. My recent Gmail threads or with the science department head about lab safety, whatever the case is for conversations you've had for this content. And then create a comprehensive unit report that identifies gaps in my current materials and suggest 3 new lesson plans that fill those gaps, right? This is just a sample prompt. And if I hit submit, it's not going to find anything because I don't have anything like this in my Drive, but just for fun, I'll show it to you. And you might be wondering about confidentiality, right? Because it's looking in your Drive, it's looking in your Gmail, and it can search through your chat history. I am using my district's enterprise so that everything that I'm doing with Gemini is filtered, right? And so because of that, there is a privacy wall, no AI training. My data is not being used to train Google's AI because I'm using Gemini through a Workspace for Education account. And so my prompt information that reads from my Drive or my Gmail or chat are not used to improve their model. In addition, in the regular version of Gemini, sometimes there are human reviewers that read snippets to improve the system. But for education, Google's terms for workspace specify that the content's not reviewed by humans. And then lastly, because I'm using this through my district, there is a compliance and legal safeguard for this. FERPA and COPPA, contractually, Google acts as a school official, which means that they handle data in compliance with FERPA. And so here's what I'm going to say, even with all of those rules in place. It is always, 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 this is a pro tip for teachers regarding the usage of AI. Because even with these protections, a good rule of thumb is to avoid putting in highly sensitive, identifiable student data. I just wouldn't do it even with those protections in place. I'm not going to have it go through my Drive and find IEPs, right? I'm not going to find if I have access to who's free and reduced lunch or contact information. I'm not going to do any of that. Instead, I would anonymize it. I would say something like student A or, those kinds of vague terms when I'm prompting it. So just keep that in mind. Even with those protections, you never want to give it confidential information. So although I don't have anything very specific in my Drive, let's see what it pulls out. So it found my Illinois Priority Learning Standards. It found my Master Science Environment Standards. It found my Illinois Assessment of Readiness Manual in Gmail conversations, and then it researched websites. So it really did try to kind of match what I was looking for within my drive and within the web, right? So that's what it looks like. And because I asked it to create a unit, here is what it came up with. It's got the entire unit report. I click on this and then it opens it up here. And as I'm scrolling through, this part right here, analysis of the climate unit folder and drive assets. It must have pulled this from my standards, right? It pulled this from the priority standards. And everything else, it looks like it pulled from the web. So now that I have my unit, I could then export to docs, or I could copy the contents. I could also create an audio overview if I wanted to. So that is deep research integrating with your workspace content.